Thank you all so much for that warm welcome, boys and girls. And thank you again, Dr. Irene, for the awesome job that you are doing. And so I just wanted to connect with what Dr. Irene was saying, that you have to get ready for your presentation. And I'm just going to demonstrate that today, because today I'm not going to be using slides. Today, I'm just going to talk to you from my heart. All right? I know Dr. Irene has requested me to talk on identifying problems or solving problems. And we're going to have a discussion on that. And I'm just going to share with you a life experience where I actually had a problem and how I solved that problem. So the first thing you have to do with young boys and girls is identify the problem, whether it be schoolwork, whether it be at home, whether it be cleaning your room, because some of you right now, you're sitting in your room on this Zoom, and I can see your room is not tidy. So that is a problem right there. Because what else are you doing? When you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you say your prayer, the next thing you should be doing is to make up your bed and tidy your room. So the first problem I have identified being on this Zoom with you all is that some of you's room are not being kept well. And that is a problem. So how are you going to solve that problem moving forward? Because we don't want you to spend this week on this webinar with all these leaders and all this information that you're receiving, and then you get back to point zero. We want to see you grow, and we want to see you improve in the things that you have learned this weekend. So as somebody has shared with time management, you have to schedule a time to clean your room. You have to schedule a time to read, because as I shared with you, leaders are readers. You cannot only spend all your time playing video games. And that is the next problem that I saw. Some of you were on the phone playing games, and you're pretending like you're listening to the leaders. I saw you yesterday. The fact that I did not say anything does not mean that we were not seeing some problems that were arising as we did this conference. Am I saying there's something wrong? No, it is not wrong. But what I want you to see for yourself is, if you keep living your life that same way, where would that take you to? So you have to be serious. You have to put a foundation, because once you have a solid foundation and you can actually identify problems that arises in your life, then you can begin to put a solution to it. But once you cannot even identify a problem, how can you even solve it? So the first thing is cleaning your room. The second thing is you have to schedule a time that you play your video games. You cannot be on this Zoom and you're playing on the side on your phone at the same time. It's like you're chasing two rabbits, and guess what? You will never catch any of them. So as I was sharing, there was a point in my life where I had a problem. And I'm sharing this story because I know you, as young boys and girls, you are in school right now, and you will be facing challenges in your life, right? In school, in your careers, whatever it might be, if you're taking on sports. So there was a time in my life where I had a problem. And I'm going to share with you how I solved that problem. And I want you to listen keenly. So I grew up in Cameroon. It's a little country about the size of California. And growing up in Cameroon, it wasn't a bed of roses like you people have now. If you are born in America or in Canada, you were born with a golden spoon in your mouth. So growing up in Cameroon, that is all I knew at that time. And I was so happy that my parents gave me the best they could. And when I finished secondary school and I finished high school, my parents decided to send me to the United States of America to further my studies. Even though I wasn't good at school, I did not like school. And the reasons my dad and my mom, they had to send me to America is because they saw the potential in me, even though I did not like school. So at times, young boys and girls, when your parents are talking to you, what they see sitting down, you as a young boy and girl standing on top of a tree, you will never see it. So I want you to listen. That is another problem that is happening with our young generation, that you guys don't listen to your parents. You don't listen. You think you figured it out. Meanwhile, you haven't figured it out yet. There is still a lot for you to learn. So listening is part of the process. So I had to listen to my parents. I had to tap into their wisdom because they saw something in me that I could not see for myself. And so when they gave me the opportunity of coming to the United States, I was happy. I was excited. And so when I came to the United States, I went to school at Grambling State University, and I had to change my measures. In Cameroon, I was an accountant. And when I came to America, all I was told was that the money was in the medical field, and I never had money to go to medical school. So what I did was I ended up going to nursing school at Grambling State University. And so that was when I started identifying problems in my process of changing my major from accounting to science to nursing. I had never done biology, chemistry, and all of that stuff, but now I had to. So how did I solve that problem?
She's driving her
I
Learning?
was willing and I was open on learning new things.
And you persevere.
I was willing and I was open on learning new things. So my question to you is, are you open? Are you willing on learning or trying new things?
We can hear you,
I
Mama
said
Stella.
learning. So I was willing and tried new going on.
Mama Stella, your phone was you went into a static. Hello?
She left.
Guys, I'm so sorry. She's on an errand, so she's driving. So I believe that's the issue. So let's just be patient with her, please. Okay? Maybe she has gotten to an area where there's no network and it kick her out. Okay, before she comes back, I know there's so much confusion when we talk about presentation. So we know we are many of us. We are 41 right now on the forum. If we take out two guest speakers.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You were kicked out the forum.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not driving. I could hear you. I'm in my car, but I'm not driving.
Oh, perfect.
So just let me know if I get kicked out again.
Okay then. Go ahead. Mama Stella, your volume has been taken out again. I don't know, maybe it put you on static. We can't hear you.
So as I was sharing so I went into nurse. I wanted to, but when I traveled to the United States. Can you hear me now, sis?
Yes, we can. Yes. 5
All
and
right.
5.
All right. So as I was sharing, young boys and girls, I'm so sorry that the internet connection is not that good. And so I'm just going to speed up my story. So when I came to as I said, I had to go into nursing. And when I finished my nursing school, guess what? I had to pass the BOT exam. So for those of you who are aspiring to be doctors, physicians, nurses, there is a state exam that you will write. You have to take, and you have to pass that test before you can practice as a nurse or as a doctor. So how many of you on this call right now, you have some dreams that you really want to accomplish? Do you all have some dreams you really want to accomplish? Yeah. And how are you going to accomplish those dreams? Because that is the way that is a problem right there. You have a goal you want to meet. And once you have that goal and you face a problem, how are you going to solve it? So I had a goal. I had a dream. My dream was to becoming a registered nurse. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I thought I was ready. So the first time I took this test, I failed it. You know, the second time I took it again, I failed again. The third time, I failed again. Yes, I could see some of your faces. You're thinking it's like, wow. Yeah. You know, at this time, I started blaming the computer. I thought the computer was acting up. Just like right now, when you don't do well on your math test or your English test, you think you start blaming the teacher. No, the way to solve the problem is being responsible, like taking on responsibility. And once you're responsible, you don't blame other people for your action. You look at what you did not do or what you did wrong so that you can correct it. So what I did was I had to stop blaming the computer, because the computer had nothing to do with the way I was answering those questions. And when I stopped blaming the computer, I had to look at myself and say, look, why have I failed 3 times? What can I address? What was there for me to discover that I had not seen? So what I saw for myself was that I was not reading enough. I wasn't practicing the questions enough. So as you take on your goals and your dreams in life, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You will face obstacles. And when you face these obstacles, how are you going to deal with them? So the first one is the willingness to be open to try new things. The second one is being responsible and stop blaming others for your action or your inaction. So when I did that, I went back and I picked up my book and I started studying again. And guess what? The 4th time I took the test again, I failed again. The 5th time, I failed again. The 6th time, I still failed. Right now, how many of you are thinking I was really dumb, failing over and over and over and over again? Right? Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with you feeling like you're a failure or I was dumb. But guess what? Once you have a problem, you do not back up from that problem. You look for a solution. Because in life, I can tell you this, you're going to be knocked down as boys and girls as you continue to grow. But my advice to you is when you get knocked down, don't stay down. Get back up. You will be knocked down several times in life. But when you get knocked down, don't stay down. The solution is not in the staying down. The solution is the willingness to be able to get back up. You know, in my book, Stop Sitting on Your Greatness. And as I said, Mama Irene, the person that will win, I'm going to send them a copy of my book. So you're just going to send the address. That's my support, so that they can actually stop sitting on their greatness when they read my book. And in my book, I share that it takes no energy to fall down, but it takes energy for you to raise back up, for you to be able to pick up yourself and get back up. So I was willing, ladies and gentlemen, not to let the obstacles stop me, not to let the problem stop me. And what was my problem? My problem was that I was failing over and over and over and over again. The seventh time when I failed, at this time, it was painful. I had to sit down and I cried. And at this time, I started making myself wrong, just as I told you yesterday. I started thinking I wasn't good enough. But guess what? That was just my story. That was not the problem. The problem was that I was not passing the test. Period. Whether you like it or not, you can add anything you want to add to it. The problem is I did not pass the test. How did I solve that? I remember what Thomas Edison once said, that our greatest weakness lies in giving up. But the most certain way to succeed in life is just to try one more time. I told myself, Stella, you have that courage to try one more time. So whenever you face a problem or you face an obstacle, remember you have courage in you. Tap into that courage. I had the courage to step back up. And I went in the eighth time. The eighth time, I still failed again. Yes, I did. The ninth time, I still failed, even with all that courage, picking myself up, studying. One of the things you have to know, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have to do the work. Success will not be given to you. You have to work for it. I went back to the library. Guess what I had to do? I had to look for a mentor. Somebody who had taught other people. I went to her and I said, look, I failed 9 times and I don't want to fail again. And she says, we went through the questions. She said, look, you are ready. So you, at times when you face obstacles, ask for advice. Get out of your zone. Go to your parents. Daddy, I failed this math test. Daddy, I'm struggling with this. And let them help you, because you don't have all the answers. The answers are in the communities you're living in your churches. There are people there where you can look up to them for advice. In your families. So my mentor told me I was ready. I studied. I went in the 10th time. Ladies and gentlemen, I still failed. You know, at this point, that was when I really thought I was really dumb. How many of you would have given up? I'm just asking. How many of you would have given up? Am I seeing any? Yeah. So for your dreams to come true, you cannot give up on them. Giving up is not the solution. The only way you can get anything you want in life is by being determined, being focused, and staying on track on your goals and your dreams. So for those of you who are planning to becoming medical doctor, nurses, engineer, guess what? It is possible as long as you don't give up. So not giving up is a way of solving any problem that you face in life. You go and ask for questions. You know you have that courage within you. You're determined, you're focused on your goals and your dreams. So identifying the problems and also having solutions to the problem is key. So at this point, I look myself in the mirror, just as I told you yesterday. Be with yourself, look at yourself in the mirror. And I said to myself, Stella, you got this. I said to myself, despite the fact that I'm failing this test, I am not a failure. I'm just failing in producing the results that I want on this test. So I want you to know that once you have an obstacle, never see yourself as a failure. Never blame yourself. Never doubt yourself, because you have just failed in producing the results in whatever you're taking on in your life. And so I picked up my book again. I went back to study. I studied. The 11th time, I still failed again. Now, what solution did I bring? It was mind-boggling, right? To keep failing on a single test. It was. I'm still here. It was mind-boggling. But I knew deep within me that no matter what, I was going to pass the test. I knew there was a solution. So you have to really have that confidence deep within you that you have what it takes to make it happen in life. Because as you are growing, boys and girls, I can tell you from a position of strength, you are going to face obstacles in life, you're going to face problems in life, and you're not going to back up from those problems. You're going to be willing to deal with the problems and solve them, because guess what? As you solve the problems and as you deal with the problems, that is the way you grow. That is the way the experiences you go through in life gives you your life. So you cannot stay away from the experiences, because that is what is giving you life. So to cut the long story short, so that I could give an opportunity for you all to ask me questions, to cut the long story short, the 12th time when I took my test, and always it is at the point when you're thinking of giving up. I was thinking, it's like, this is too much for me to handle. But you boys and girls, I want you to know that there is nothing too much for you to handle. Because the moment you want to give up, that is always when your miracle will show up. The 12th time, when I took the test, I passed. What's the whole essence of this story? This story is really to show you boys and girls that anything you want in your life, anything you want, it's possible. We did not say it's easy. It's possible. You will face obstacles. You will face challenges. You will face problems. But are you going to back up when you encounter challenges, when you encounter obstacles? I'm here to share with you that there is no backing up. You have what it takes to getting anything you want in your life. And yes, you cannot give up on your dreams. You cannot give up on yourself. You cannot give up on your parents. You cannot give up on your brothers and sisters. You got to keep going, because that is where the juice of life is. The experiences give you your life. So with that said, I know who I'm talking to. I know you have greatness in you. I know you have what it takes to overcome any problem that you will face as you're growing. So when you face a problem, look for the solutions. Tap into your God-given talents. And once you run out of tapping into yourself, tap into the people around you, your mom, your dad, your teachers, the people in your churches, so that they can advise you and help you overcome any challenge or problem that you might have. So with that said, I'm going to leave this time so that we can interact. And if you have any questions for me, you could ask the questions so that we can, I could answer them. So do you all have any questions?
Guys, you can unmute yourself and ask your question or put it on the chat box. If you don't want to speak, you can put it on the chat box. Okay.
I didn't hear if you ever passed.
Yeah, so I shared that the 12th time I finally passed the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
a
have a
test, it was an exam, a board exam. It wasn't a test. It was a board exam, a national exam. Okay, go ahead, Glory.
There was a quote from a Thomas Edison that you said. Can you repeat it, please?
Say that again.
A quote that you say, a quote
Oh,
that you
yes.
said from Thomas
Yes, I said, yeah, Thomas Edison once said that our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is to try just one more time. Just one more time. So our greatest weakness lies in giving up. But the most certain way to succeed in life is to try just one more time.
Okay, there's another question from Tolu Oyeyenka. I'm just hearing that name for, is it yesterday or today? But I will know who this person is. How did you find the motivation to pass after failing so many times?
Oh, yeah, what a great question. So, who asked that question, Dr. Irene?
Tolu.
Tolu.
I did.
So Tolu, I'm gonna talk to you, and as I talk to Tolu, you all girls and boys can listen. So Tolu, you have that motivation in you. We all do have. That is why I ended by saying you have greatness in you. And that greatness embodies everything from motivation to power to willpower to focus to determination to love. The only thing is at times we want to look it outside. And that is when we lost our focus. So the motivation was deep in me. And every time I just had to tap and keep digging deeper and deeper into that motivation. That is why I started by teaching you self-love, because it's within you. So you have the motivation in you. So don't let that motivation go dormant. Keep tapping into it.
And
thank you.
the next person says, did you have people supporting you while you kept on failing?
Yeah, that is why I said you have to tap into your support system. I had to go get a mentor. I had my husband supporting me. Even though at times my husband told me nursing wasn't for me, and I was like, look, this is my dream, you know. So there are times, even some of your friends will try to discourage you when you are taking on a dream, and they're thinking that dream is bigger for you, and they will try to discourage you. Don't listen. I told my husband, it's like, this is something I want. There were days I was moody because I had not passed the test, and I could get it from his viewpoint. He did not want me to be moody. He wanted me to be happy. But since I had failed over and over, there were times I was just moody, and he did not like that. So there were days he was supportive, there were days he wasn't. But yes, there were people around me. And at one point, guess what? I had to stop telling my friends, because my friends kept telling me it's like, oh, nursing wasn't for me. But I went to the people that I looked up to.
Okay,
Like my parents.
Emanuela said, did you always pray before writing the exams?
Oh, yes, definitely. Prayers is always the foundation. Yeah, that was one of the support system, the universal system that I would encourage all of you. That is the base. That's the foundation. I did. I prayed. Even when I was studying, I would pray. I was like, Lord, I don't know. Help me. Give me the grace so that I could understand what I'm studying. And when I went to take the test, every time I will pray like, Lord, help me so that I could pass this test. And guess what? At times, God will not answer the prayers the time we want it. He will answer the prayer when it's his time. So it wasn't like God wasn't answering me when I was failing and failing, or I would be blaming God. God, why me? I was just like, when is it gonna happen? I had that hope that it was gonna happen. The only difference is I did not know when it was gonna happen, but I knew deep within me that it was gonna happen.
Okay, our next question from Chelsea. She said, what made you keep going even when times were tough?
Well, oh wow, what a beautiful question. What kept me going? The only way people will know you, Chelsea, is by your word. I gave my word to something that I was going to be a nurse. And there was no way I was going to back up on that. The only way people know people is when they give their word to something. Nelson Mandela is known because he gave his word that he was against apartheid. And no matter what they did, putting him in jail, he wasn't backing up. Martin Luther King gave his word on standing against racial profiling. He gave his word, I have a dream that one day everybody will be equal. When you back up, you've lost your identity. So if you want anything you want, and you've given your word to it, that is what is going to make you whole and complete. But once you back up on your own words, you're lost. So that is what made me keep going, because I had given my word to myself that I wanted to be a nurse. And there was nothing that was going to stop me, no matter what, even if I had to go 20 times.
Okay, we have a question from the twin, Taiwo, and the sister. They said, what did your parents say about you failing the exam so many times?
Oh, Lord, you want to hear from the African perspective? I'm just going to be straight with you. You know, my parents thought somebody was timing for me. I don't know what timing, but I'm going to explain it in a way that you people can understand. You all growing out here, you might not understand, but Dr. Irene will understand where I'm coming from. So to them, they thought it was something supernatural that was beyond my control, that was affecting me, like somebody was doing it to me.
Witchcraft.
Like it was witchcraft. You know, so at one point I had to stop telling them too, because it's like every time I went to them for encouragement, they were always thinking it was witchcraft. And I'll be like, no, there's no witchcraft. I don't believe in it.
Okay, awesome. Then Mevel say, how do you stay focused and dedicated? I believe we've answered that question in another way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then
yeah, so staying focused is staying focused, because in life, distractions will come, right? You take on something, and the moment you take on something that is bigger than you, distractions will always come. So how do you return back to focus? It's always thinking of what you had said, promised yourself that you were going to do. And that's just the way you just return back to your promise, returning back to your promise. That's what focus is.
Okay. And another question on, did you ask God to help you? She said she prayed, yes. So Isaiah said, were you in depression after you were not passing?
Yes. And as I said, there were times I cried. You remember the 7th time? It means you were not listening, Isaiah, because I shared that the 7th time when I failed, I had to cry. I sat down and I cried. I was like, why me? Why do I have to go through this? No, I'm not good enough. I'm a failure. Yeah. As a human being, you're gonna be in like a roller coaster. There are moments, especially when you take on something bigger than yourself and you face an obstacles, you're gonna hit that low bottom. And that's why I say when you hit that low bottom, you cannot stay down. You have to pick yourself back up.
Mm-hmm. And Taiwo asked the question, did you have to pay for those exams?
Every time. Every time.
And Latoya said, this is not a question, but I am honestly very proud of you, because I am not going to lie. I would have given up as a long time ago. And I will remember this story for a very long time, for the rest of my life. That is Latvia. She's praising you. And Rachel said, were you not scared of what your parents would think?
Yeah, you know, in the beginning, I was scared, not even just of what my parents were gonna think, my friends, the people around me. As I said, you know, when you get out in other people's world, people started saying, "Oh, you're a failure." I was scared because those words came back to me. But guess what? As I said, if you have that self-love within you, if you know who you are, nothing coming from the outside would derail your dreams. So I want you to keep tapping back into who you really are and believe in who you are. Because once you have that for yourself and you take the advice from your parents and your teachers, then nothing can stop you from having anything you want.
And Sakola said, what are you doing currently?
That's a good question, boy. So, you know, I had to pass that test. When I passed that test, the first 9 years, I did not really even use it. I just passed that test because I had to pass it. Because that was going to give me that peace, that inner joy, that inner love. So I am a nurse by trade, right? And I'm also an entrepreneur. So what I do is I go around the world and I share this message to inspire people, inspire youths to not giving up on their dreams and to not giving up on the things that they really want, whether it be their marriage. You guys are growing. Very soon you start having boyfriend, girlfriends. One day you get married. When it gets tough in your marriage, are you just going to give up? There are times you can, but it's just a message that I'm sharing now that as I go around. So I just go around the world and I share this message. So guess what? At times, God will take you through something, not because he just wants to take you through, because now my pain has become my message.
Awesome, awesome. And Mark is saying, how did you feel after finally passing the test?
Yeah, it was refreshing. It was joyful. It was just a sense of peace and fulfillment and satisfaction that I had.
Okay. And Emanuela is saying that, did you ever feel you were useless and nothing good would come from you?
Yeah, as I said, Emanuela, as a human being, once you're living, if you're not 6 foot down, once you are living as a human being, there are times you will have those types of feelings, like I'm not good enough, I'm useless, because I kept failing. But as I said, when they come, what you do is you acknowledge them. I say, yes, I see you, I know you are there, but guess what? You are not more important than my goals and my dreams.
Okay. And Blaise says, after taking the test, how long did it take for you to retake the test?
Oh boy. This is a very smart group of kids. In my book, I actually shared, if you want to know the honest truth about how long it took me, boy. So when I started taking the test, you have to wait at least 3 months to retake it. So the first year, I think I took it like 3 times. The second year, I was like, okay, do I really want to take it? Do I really want to take it? You know? So I think the second year, I took it probably 1 or 2 times. So it started slowing down. So overall, it took me 5 freaking years to pass this test.
Okay. And Emmanuel Oyeyenka said, this motivates me. Awesome. And Kilo Gibet said, I understand that one of the reasons you did not give up was because you love what you do. My question is, can you grow love in something? Because certainly we will face challenges. If you can understand what he said.
Yeah, I think you can grow love, Emmanuel. As I said, you came from love and you are love. And once you stand in that you have love within you, you can build anything from that. But once you start doubting yourself and you are in between the love, the self-love and the self-hate, as we discussed yesterday, that is when you start giving your power away.
Okay. And Lydia said, was there a limit to how many times you can take the test?
Yes, there was. You guys are just recreating me. Actually, yes, there was. There was a limit. I had taken the test that the state had to, I had to go back to school to do a refresher to be able to really practice as a nurse when I pass. So I want you to know that anything is possible. Because like even in my workshops now, when I share with people my story, I really empower people on not giving up and sharing the power in going through the experiences that we have. And one day when I was sharing my story, one lady told me, it's like, oh, the state board stopped me because she wanted to become a doctor. And she had written her own test 4 times, just 4 times. And when she failed the 4th time, she gave up. So she was telling me, oh, the state board stopped me. I was like, look, the state board did not stop you. You stopped yourself. And she asked for the evidence. I was like, look, I had taken it and I had to go do a refresher. So you were not willing to do what it took to be able to pass your test. So stop blaming the state board. So that is why I told you people, being responsible is not blaming other people. You got to stop blaming your parents, stop blaming your teachers, stop blaming your brothers, your sisters. You got to take on responsibility for your actions or your inactions.
Good. And the victory is saying that what did your friends say, or how did they feel after seeing you passing your exam after trying 12 times?
You know how your friends will feel, right? Some of them were proud, some of them were not happy, just to be straight with you people. But some of them, they were proud of me. And some of them, they were like shocked that I was still taking the test because I had stopped telling them.
Awesome. And Ivana make a comment, say anything is possible when you put your mind into it. And
exactly. That is a profound statement. Anything you put your mind into it is possible.
And Taiwo and the sister said, you being able to keep going and not minding the obstacles and roadblocks makes you a strong and courageous woman, because I would have given up, but because of what you said, it's real inspiring. Okay, and Ivana said again, anything you put your mind on it, you can do it. Okay, that one is done. And the last comment or question is from the victory. How did your parents feel? We've answered that question already. So guys, today you guys did so well. And Mama Stella, I believe these kids, they love you, because I see the way they were just shouting your name, Mama Stella, Mama Stella. I'm so jealous. People are making me jealous. Come on now. You're just so all over Mama Stella. What about me? Come on. Can I have some love? It's just as if people don't want to give me love. This is not fair now. And I'm here with these
we'll
people.
share it together.
Every day. Thank you. Thank you, my beloved daughter, Glory. As all my Canadian kids, don't you love me? Should I go away?
They do.
Come on.
Love you, Dr. Irene.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so Mama Stella, thank you one more time.
Yeah.
Thank you again and again and again and again and again. You guys have made my work. You know what I was saying? What I was saying. Thank you again and again and again. And
yes.
my kids here, they love you so much.
Thank you.
And you have inspired them with your story, because your story is a real story. It's not a fiction, right? Some of us parents would like to tell our kids that I was an A grade student when we failed so many times. But we fail so many times. We tell the kids, oh, do you know the grade I was getting? I was the first in my class. I was the A in my class. Not knowing that we failed several times. But hearing from a mother like you inspired even me. I've heard your story many times. I've been in many of your presentations. I've heard it many times, and it touched my heart whenever you say it, right? Because I try to put myself in your shoe. What could I have done? I don't think I could have gone more than 3 or 5 times because my my stress span or my coping span at that time was not long enough. It's not good enough.
Right.
I don't have that elasticity. But now, as you're saying it, I begin to develop it that, to be honest, you don't give up until you achieve your dream. And if your dream was just to have your name registered as a registered nurse and you move up to another thing, why not stay in there until you get it? Right?
Yeah.
So my beautiful and handsome youth, if you have a dream, please don't let nobody talk you out of it.
Yep.
They say don't expose your baby or your cheek while they are still in the yoke. That's what Mama Stella did. She stopped telling people because they keep putting negative thoughts on her and she will give up. But thank God she discovered that strategy on time and the wisdom, and she never told anybody until she passed the exam. Now everybody was surprised that she has passed the exam. So guys, thank you so much. Let's just unmute and just give it up for Mama Stella before I break.
Yeah. Bravo, bravo.
Bravo.
Love you all, guys.